That's why I didn't feel like I could release this episode until now. Hey y'all, my name is Jessica Jordan, also known as The Rolling Explorer, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Last February, I had the absolute honor of modeling and attending my third consecutive fashion week. Here's a little recap into everything that happened.
Hey y'all, so I am on my way to go do some PR and media work for Fashion Week.
I also dyed my hair blonde. Who is she? Literally. I finished off the day with a McCrispy sandwich from McDonald's in true fashion model fashion. So here we have what my chair looked like the minute that I got off the tube across town. Here, I unfortunately came to the horrific realization that I had left my walking stick at home. As you can see, the week was jam-packed with absolute chaos, and it was a complete blast. If you want all the details into what that looked like, the full series with this new episode is finally up here on my YouTube channel. So be sure to check it out if you're interested. But if you've been here for a while and watched all of the original posts from the series back when they came out in the spring, then you were probably left on a bit of a cliffhanger. Sorry. You see, I originally planned to post this finale episode right next day after the previous installment. But then I got in my head because I didn't think that I could properly explain the situation back at that time. If you're new here, my life has been a mess since February 1st of 2023. That was the day that my husband at the time asked me for a divorce. Now clearly breakups, divorces, all of that fun ending of a relationship jazz is painful just generally. But mine had the added bonus effect of being an international marriage. I was living over in the UK, and if you can't tell from my very thick American accent, I'm not from the UK. So there was a lot of things to figure out, and Fashion Week was only 2 weeks after my husband decided to make this life-changing announcement. So naturally, I was a wreck. I was stressed. I was running all over the place for 2 weeks straight, trying to prepare for Fashion Week, trying to prepare my life, trying to figure everything out, supporting myself, still trying to run my own business, knowing that I'm gonna have to transition it from a UK business to a US business in a matter of weeks, and just absolutely freaking out. But I knew that Fashion Week was gonna be good for my career, to continue on with it despite all of the chaos in my personal life. And number two, I'd already made commitments to show up. I'm not somebody who backs out on commitments when I say that I'm going to show up. So I showed up, and I sort of just pushed all of my emotional stuff deep down inside as much as I could and just tried to get on with it. But because of this, clearly my brain was not working properly, and I shouldn't even say properly. It wasn't working in the way that I was used to. I was ill mentally, and in some ways, I still see the residual effects of that. So February, 2 weeks after my world implodes, I'm going to Fashion Week and I forget my walking stick. I can't obviously blame the divorce for all of that, but I'm gonna put a little bit of blame on it because life was a lot. Life was a lot, and that's just that. And wrapping it all back up here quickly with a little bow on top, that's why I didn't feel like I could release this episode until now, because finally I'm in a place where I can sort of kind of talk about my divorce. Not fully, because the final papers have not been signed yet, but we're getting there, and I can be a little bit more open about my thoughts and feelings during the situation because I'm in a mental state to handle it. So we're backstage. We're about 3 to 4 hours before the runway. So there is time if I need to run home to run home. But Victoria had made a very reasonable rule that if you had your hair and makeup done, you were not to leave the building. So I'm in this pickle. My hair and makeup is done. So yeah, it wasn't my finest hour. But the disability community honestly is this abundance of kindness and joy and support. I don't think I know of a nicer group of people, and just a more willing to help and a more sacrificial and a more supportive environment than when you're around a bunch of other disabled people, because we all get it. We all understand when symptoms flare up. up because it's happened to us. We all get it when things are not accessible, and that's frustrating. We all get being overstimulated. We all understand. We all have been there. We've all been discriminated against, and through that, we have a shared trauma and a shared fear of just like not being safe and not being okay, and what that means for us in wherever space we are on any given day. So it's a lot, folks. And because it's a lot, it brings us together in the most beautiful of ways. And that's what happened backstage that day. I went to Victoria, panicked. I did not want to bother her with this seemingly small but also quite large issue because it's her fashion show. Like, she should not have to deal with this. But she immediately told me that she had an extra walking stick in her office and that I could use it. She said, actually, with what I want to put you in, it would look great. And I said, okay, thank you. But she was really busy and didn't have time to go grab it right away. So literally, like 4 to 5 other people offered me their mobility aids to use for the rehearsals, because there was like 3 rehearsals that day. Not a single one of these 5 people did I know personally before that day. Not a single one. They were all strangers to me. Do you know how special that is when you fall apart and people are there to support you? My God, that was such a beautiful moment for me, especially having my world literally crumbled apart just 2 weeks prior. And it was truly an honor to share the runway with so many beautiful souls. So if you're watching this and we walked at London Fashion Week together in the Unhidden show, thank you for being an absolute gem and for your kindness and your friendship and all of it. In the end, I did get to use Victoria's light up stick that had a bunch of like glitter and sparkles on the inside as well during the actual performance because I got to close the show. I was the last model to walk the runway in the Unhidden fashion show in February 2023 at London Fashion Week. If you're not familiar with fashion and how like fashion shows go, the final look is generally called like a showstopper. It's typically what you want to leave the audience and the media that's in attendance with as they go out about their day. The designer typically wants you to focus in on that look, and to be chosen with the responsibility of closing a show is an honor. I mean, guys, at this point, I'd only been modeling for like 2 years, right? Like professionally anyway. It's not like I have this long career. I'd only done 2 other runways prior to this one. And so this felt like the biggest thing. And they waited to tell me until right before we went on. Like literally, we were going to line up. They pulled me out of line and said, you're closing the show. I believe one of the stylists on the day gave me like a little pep talk speech and said like, strut for us all or something like that. I'll have to go look. I definitely wrote it down somewhere, but it was just so surreal and scared me to death. And leading up to the runway, I'd already been jamming to Vigilante Ship by Taylor Swift on repeat for like 15-20 minutes while everybody was really stressed in the room. I just popped my AirPods in and was trying to zone out.
What are you doing?
Listening to Vigilante Ship by Taylor Swift.
You're just sitting as that.
Lately, I've been dressing for revenge. And be in my full revenge era because I 1000% was. And then to have all of this like excited energy inside of me and have them do that, oh my God, I was a nervous wreck. Just remember thinking like, I do have to strut for us all. Like, this is a big deal. This is a big deal for me. This is a big deal for Victoria. I don't want to let her down. This dress that I'm wearing, guys, the dress, amazing. So freaking beautiful. It was in my signature color of red, which we love to see. And I had on these incredible Kurt Geiger boots. And then of course I had the light up stick. All of it was just working. I felt so fabulous. Oh my gosh, I look good. And you know what? I'm not the only one that thought I looked good because BBC listed me in their top 10 most striking looks from Fashion Week with that number. So congratulations, Victoria, congratulations, Unhidden, and congratulations me, because that is freaking epic. Also, it's epic for the disability community, the fact that they would include not only an adaptive fashion brand, but a disabled model in their looks. Like, thank you. Hopefully that continues in media because that's awesome. Anyway, I really hope that I ended up making Victoria proud with my strut. I hope that I strutted well for the whole disability community. And ultimately, I hope I strutted well for myself, because the reality is I don't live in London anymore. I don't think I'll be going to a London Fashion Week runway show for a while. I would love to go back. If I got asked by a designer to model, I would probably fly out. But like, that doesn't seem like it's gonna happen, at least not this season. Maybe next season, we'll see. But seriously, I did that for me. I did that for the designer, and I did that because I'm a professional, but I showed up in that moment for me. And it felt so good. It felt so good. I needed that. I needed that moment. After the show, we got to mingle with everybody in the audience. I got to meet my manager, Abby, for the first time, and sip on a much deserved and a much needed glass of champagne. And y'all, it was bliss. It was bliss. We all went out after the show as well. We found this little bar that was not accessible, actually. That was a whole thing. But because it wasn't accessible, we got free alcohol. So it balances, I guess. Not really, but like, I don't know. That was Fashion Week. I really hope that I get to do more incredible fashion things like this in the future. Whether it be London Fashion Week, whether it be New York Fashion Week, whether it be Paris Fashion Week, or if it's just little bits and bobs here and there in between. It doesn't matter. I love fashion. I love it. I love the people. I love the creativity. I love the passion. I love it all. So Victoria, thank you. I'm sorry if I added extra stress to your day, but thank you for having me in the Unhidden show. It was truly a blast. It was an honor, and it was a lot of fun. It was a good time. We all were looking fabulous in your fabulous designs, so thanks for that. Now, I may not be attending Fashion Week this season, but I have a lot of fun things cooked up my sleeve, so if you want to stay up to date on all of my upcoming adventures, and trust me, adventures they will be, then be sure to hit that subscription button and notification bell so you never miss a future upload. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and also comment down below some things that you'd like me to share about my life now living back in the US. And with all of that said, guys, thank you so much for tuning in and supporting this video. Y'all rock. I'll see you next time.